My people, this one now aura to aura. Like Wike don't put leg for poto poto. Wike finally met his match. My people, so yesterday, Wike was saying that Bola Tinubu could have not allowed Sowore to go scot-free, why he called him criminal. So now, Sowore don't go bring like evidence. Waiting Wike talk like years ago. My people, this one really shocked me. Even though that this particular video threaded like last time, but Wike being the FCT minister today really shocked a lot of people. Does it mean that Wike did not go through screening before they appoint him as a FCT minister? People are now asking, what is the work of DSS? So DSS, they are not aware of this particular tape where Wike threatened to kpai INEC officials if they refuse to do his bidding. My people, if Nigeria is a country, where the rule of law is in play, by now Wike is supposed to be behind the bars. But look at where he is today, bragging and telling us what Tinubu supposed to do and what he's not supposed to do. Anyway, let me allow you guys to listen to this particular tape and hear for yourself what Wike said here, because I supposed to read that what Sowore wrote, but these words here are heavy for you too. So I will leave it here on the screen for you to read it for yourself and then listen and hear what Wike said in this particular tape.
Okay, let me check in. That time you said I should call.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what's the problem?
Well, there's no problem except we ask that they should move the thing to the rack center they receive and the usual intimidation.
Intimidation by who now?
No, we know that's what they will do. It's just that arriving late a bit and it's trying to put up the disbursement and set up our.
I don't know what you're saying. You're not saying that anything. Who is intimidating you?
No, like me, nobody is intimidating me. We have people there.
Tell everybody to be there. Nobody, you couldn't did it. You couldn't say, don't move there. You couldn't did it. They couldn't do anything. You understand me? You couldn't go and did it. So the hero say you will not do, you will not kind of fine.
Yeah.
The hero is posted from where?
It's on Plateau.
From Plateau.
But
I'll call the Plateau man now. I'll tell him to tell me if he does not return my destiny, I will deal with him. Don't worry.
No, let him just sign, that's all.
Maybe that was if he does that he should return whatever. I'm going to make sure that I will kill him in this state. Don't worry. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Call the bank coordinator.
Yes.
Of Plateau, the man in the chair.
Yes.
That I said he should warn his man in Ghana.
Okay, sir.
That if he does rubbish, he should reform what we give. That if he tries it, that will make sure that he will never leave the state.
No problem.
So the time like that he should warn him. If he's playing with people, he thinks that they will collect that and begin to do rubbish. That time that I said that you see what I will do to him. If that's how they be, and then too, I think the man in Ikwere, I think it's also Plateau. I think it's also Plateau. So find out and tell them that call the three coordinators that I say they should tell their people. If they want to joke with me, it's not me. I will kill them in this way before they leave.
No problem.
If I want to return what they gave them, I will kill them. Just call the three of them.
All right.
If this step is authentic and now Wike is the minister of FCT, my people, Nigeria is finished. Let's look at some of the reactions from people. So this person said, so Wike can allegedly threaten INEC staff on tape and still get promoted to FCT minister. Nigeria really rewards the wars among us. If Wike is truly Tinubu's attack dog, then this government is officially outsourcing thuggery as policy. And this person said, leaders like Tinubu recruit people like Wike for a reason. They know how Nigerians work better than the people suffering under it. Poverty give them leverage. Power give them tools. They buy the weak, waste the bold, and control the rest. One day, oppressed will certainly wake up. And another person said, These are just a tip on the dark side of politics. The way he said that, I will buy them before they leave, doesn't look like a big deal for him. He must have done worse before. Our nation is in the wrong hands. And this person said, Nigerians will just let this slide. That is our problem. This is an opportunity, but we will just comment and pass. And another person said, when Wike mentioned Sowore's name and threatened him, I told a friend that he made a mistake. Wike has been bullying people, but like bullies, this time he has met his match. He would regret ever issuing a threat to Sowore. And this person said, Wike's reign of terror cannot continue unchecked. Any man who threatens INEC officials and boasts of blood in his hands must face the law. Nigeria is not Wike's personal estate. He must be investigated, prosecuted, and jailed. No more sacred cows. Wike must face justice. This Nigeria? Okay, oh. And this person said, beat my imagination, have DSS cleared Wike for ministerial appointment. The DSS is one other reason why Nigeria remains so corrupt and not working. Exactly. And this one said, Nigeria is a movie. Even with all the evidence, the corrupt judiciary will still dismiss the case. Yeah, they smell. My people, like the level of abnormalities that are going on in Nigeria is unbelievable. Look at what Wike said years ago, and now look at where Wike is. Wonder they say shall never end. Let me allow you guys to watch this particular video and hear what Rufai and as well as other people have to say concerning what happened in Rivers State as well as other trending news in Nigeria. Please do wait to subscribe for more updates, like the video, and also leave your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for doing so.
Thousands of people faced disappointment on Thursday as Governor Fubara failed to resume office despite President Bola Ahmed Tinubu lifting the 6-month emergency rule, directing him to return to work. Thousands of supporters gathered at the government house in Port Harcourt from as early as 6 a.m. To about, I believe, noon, and they were hoping that the governor will be back to the office, but by late afternoon, neither Fubara nor his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu, had appeared. Let's take a look. Now, Fubara government. Of course, we know it's Fubara's government. You say, why are people like this? I don't know. But you know, yesterday, efforts by journalists to reach key aides, including the Commissioner for Information, have proven unsuccessful with calls and text messages going unanswered. I'll take some tweets. This is from Dr. Champion, who wrote, interesting twist. The assembly is back, but the governor is missing. If Fubara stays silent much longer, it will only fuel more rumors about what deal was struck behind closed doors. And then another Twitter user wrote, where is Fubara? We expected him to at least give state address today. He said he does not wish to go back to State House some time ago. Is he not still interested? Fubara missing out on a big occasion and disappointed his supporters as usual. And of course, this Twitter user went on to say that they're happy that the governor didn't show up yesterday. Let everyone go home. Fake supporters. When he was illegally removed, the so-called supporters didn't say a word. They mostly moved on with their lives as usual. Let them all go home. Fubara will resume without fanfare. Well, we know that the Rivers State House of Assembly has since reconvened and passed a motion to probe financial transactions during the emergency administration. They've also asked the governor to forward lists of commissioner nominees and commence work on an appropriation law. Meanwhile, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike said on live television on Thursday that he drove to Governor Fubara's house at 1 a.m. to discuss the Rivers State local government elections. Wike insisted that no decision was taken without Fubara's input during the emergency rule period. He added that Fubara had earlier informed him that he wouldn't be available on election day due to a family commitment involving his son, and accused critics of making false claims about the Rivers political crisis. I mean, this was an interview he granted yesterday on Channel Wike, and people were asking that what really is going on here? You drove to the governor's house at 1 a.m. In what capacity? What are you what exactly are you doing? But let me take this story, and hopefully we'll have that video and we'll play both. Well, in the meantime, during the flag-off ceremony of a road project in Abuja, Wike criticized individuals who disrespect President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying that they are fortunate that he respects the rule of law. His remarks came after activist Omoyele Sowore called President Bola Ahmed Tinubu a criminal on X, which led to the Department of State Services filing charges against Sowore. Let's take a look.
This is a country where somebody will say, Mr. President is a criminal. Nothing will happen. Nothing. You say all kinds of things you want to say, nothing will happen. No matter how you see people criticize Trump, have you ever seen any American citizen on the social media, on the public, say, look, our president is a criminal? Have you ever had that? But yeah, anybody can wake up in the morning and abuse president, and we're happy. You are lucky you have a president that believes in the rule of law. You are lucky. Continue to be lucky. There are those you will meet, and you will be lucky again.
All right, this is a big conversation, but let us now play the video where Nyesom Wike said that he drove to Governor Sim Fubara's house around 1 a.m. to have a conversation about the Rivers LG election.
The Minister of FCT, the former governor of Rivers State, 1 a.m., drove to the governor's house. Sat down. Yes, what do we do? He said, look, that's okay. We'll go by that. There was nothing that was done that the governor was not a party to it. You see, even before the election, the governor traveled. He told me he will not be around. See, because my son had this engagement at Jesu. You see, people just sit somewhere, begin to talk all kinds of things. They don't even know, simply because, all they were expecting is, they've not settled. Unfortunately, we are settled. Unfortunately, that gas turbine is no longer there. Where people will be collecting money is no longer there. There's no law that said you must resume work today. For example, this is a golf law. I don't understand the way we operate. Okay? I was sworn in today, for example. Does not mean I'll go to office tomorrow.
All right, here he's saying there is no rule that says Wike must resume work or should have resumed work yesterday. But I believe we have our correspondent, Andy Omano, right now at the airport, a local airport in Port Harcourt, hoping to see if Governor Sim Fubara will be, arriving hopefully within an hour. They have reports that he's not in the state. But Rufai, what are your thoughts about, Wike's comments regarding Tinubu respecting the rule of law, and of course the fact that he actually, was discussing having this conversation with Governor Fubara during the elections and all of that?
So the question is, isn't it shocking to you, Orji, how confused our democracy has become?
Yes.
Why I call it demonstration of grace? You, Wike, was material and key to a state of emergency happening. So you were going to meet him for a local government election that was going to score in your favor. So what were you going to tell Fubara at 1 a.m.? Was he going to tell him that, I don't beat you, this local government, they come to me? But we saw the sham that the local government election was now. It's not where we had the miracle of Obiakpo, over 300,000 votes in local government elections. That's the joke we have become. He also said yesterday on air, Orji, that if they wanted to allow the state of emergency continue, will have continued. You know what that means? So anyway, it's President Tinubu that keeps giving him all of this leeway. But maybe because of the agreement they both have, only God knows what is among them. Anyway, he delivered Rivers for APC. We all know how the BBC wrote against that governorship elections and how shambolic those elections, the presidential elections in Rivers State. Moving on, him that is talking that somebody abused the president and they are talking, wearing the allegations against him abusing the president, this is not the same Wike that said for President Buhari then, that will go at it shoulder to shoulder, that if they try to do anything against Nigeria will burn. Didn't Wike say? You see, these politicians, I've come to realize, plus President Tinubu, plus Wike, when they are in opposition, they say something entirely different. When they are in government, they say something that him that is calling somebody. The constant refrain during Buhari's time was the fact that he was always taking jabs at Buhari. It's not during the Buhari time he called APC cancer. Is it not the same APC he's frolicking with now? Is it not the same cancer that is winning all the local governments in the state? So you can see these, our politicians. In all of this, you will have thought that Mr. Wike will have been more concerned about a more pressing issue, which is doctors going on strike in Abuja FCT that is there.
He said something about it there.
But that's not the main issue. The main issue was Fubara. He had to come and gloat that he's there, he's in charge, and all of that. So you see, but I have a word for them. Everything comes and goes. See, I think it was Dr. Abati, I think it was one of our Nigerian famous poets, if it's J.P. Clark, with his famous poem, Riverbed, riverbed, sitting all day long, on hook over grad, riverbed, riverbed, sing to me a song of all that's past, and say, will mother come back today? You shall not know, and you should not bother. Tides and market come and go, and so shall your mother. That's stream-side exchange.
All right.
Tides and market come and go. These people will come and go someday.
All right. Dr. Abati, speaking about the fact that, Wike was saying that anything goes in Nigeria, that it's not the same country that, somebody called the president a criminal and nothing will happen. Well, we know that the DSS has filed charges, but I want to tie this in with this so we can discuss that. Now, speaking about free speech in the United States, Jimmy Kimmel's show, which was suspended by ABC after he accused supporters of Donald Trump's MAGA gang of trying to politicize Charlie Kirk's death and attempting to portray the alleged killer as someone other than one of them, has sparked a broader debate about free speech and government pressure on the media. His remarks were deemed offensive and insensitive by the ABC, and so they announced that the show will be preempted indefinitely.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
All right, critics have slammed the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel. Even former U.S. President Barack Obama criticized the Trump administration for threatening regulatory actions against media companies. The issue of free speech, Dr. Abati.
It's the First Amendment.
Yes.
And then you have this cancel culture that is flourishing under Trump. However, I said the problem with it is that it smacks of, modern autocracy, authoritarianism, whereby institutions of state are weaponized to, discredit persons whose opinions you do not like. And in a country where the First Amendment is at the very foundation of the ideals of liberal American democracy, I think it's a crying shame that under President Trump, we have the United States under him behaving like he's running Viktor Orban's Hungary, or the kind of dictatorships that we see in other parts of the world, in authoritarian societies, the old Soviet Union and elsewhere, where people cannot express themselves. But does President Trump care? He does not. He's going after anybody who does not express the same views as him. Before now, it was Stephen Colbert. Before now, it was Katia Atta of Washington Post, just for expressing a view about Gonzo, the spread of guns and politics. Yes. That was how, Karen Atia left Washington Post. Now it's Jimmy Kimmel. Trump is even boasting that other networks, anybody that expresses any opinion that he does not agree with, should be fired from the platform. Now, that is not the only thing. They are now criminalizing anybody that says anything critical about the death of Kirk. However, this is the same America where when you had issues of gun violence, the radical right will not say anything. This is the same America when George Floyd incident occurred, right? It was the ordinary people who came out en masse. What did they use this same Brenda Kai institution, the FCC, that's the Federal Communications Commission, to do at that time? Brenda Kai is going all about now. Say anybody that says a word about Kirk's death, the person will be dealt with. And Trump is saying, yes, carry on. So it's not the kind of thing that should be recommended. And I was saying that, look, these are our African leaders. Very soon they will start saying that's what they do in America. And I think one African leader too has gone in that direction, harassing journalists, harassing people who present programs. But the other side of the hypocrisy is the hypocrisy of the ownership of these channels. Washington Post sucks up to Trump for advantages that the publisher is looking for. Nesta, they have about 200 radio stations. Oh, they've removed Jimmy Kimmel from their programs for their own selfish reasons. So when Trump harasses them, they jump. They don't have enough courage, like Harvard University, to stand up and say, no, we have the right to free speech, we have the right to choice. They don't have the confidence to stand up like Lisa Cook, to say that, look, under the Federal Reserve Act, what you call for cause does not apply in my own particular case. Now, the same Trump is trying to intimidate the Supreme Court of the United States on the question of his attempt to control the Central Bank of the United States. So it's a very strange development where America seems to be contradicting its own, democratic values. And Trump setting a bad example for other leaders in other parts of the world. I hope nobody will come tomorrow and say they are doing it in America. We too will do it. So they should not copy bad things.
This is why I had the two stories together, because really, Jimmy Kimmel was expressing an opinion. I mean, it's different from actually defamation and all of that.
No.
That right? Correct? He was
it
wasn't defamation. He was just expressing.
He may be factually wrong.
He was expressing an opinion. Yeah. And so we see this sort of media clampdown. And Dr. Patley rightly said, let them not go and say that they are doing it in America. After all, they suspended the Jimmy Kimmel show. So now we have to be sure of what we are saying. Everybody, let me speak my language. Gente, listen. Well, all right. This is what they're saying.
Everybody that cares, they should do whatever they want to do.
So it bothers down on, what is free speech and all of that.
How, platforms are powerful.
Yes.
How you strike a balance between business and journalism. Where do you draw the line?
Where do you draw the line? Well, we are here to speak the truth and transparently, right? Well, all right. Let's take another story now. Presidential advisor Daniel Bwala has defended the constitutional right of Seyi Tinubu to contest for any political office, including Lagos State Governor, despite being President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's son. Speaking on the Clarity Zone broadcast, Bwala said that being the president's son should not disqualify anyone from participating in politics. He dismissed suggestion that Seyi's charitable activities are politically motivated, arguing that people should not gaslight or blackmail him simply because of his family's background. Let's take a look.
Some people assumed that the way he's been doing a lot of this welfare, which he did not start yesterday, a long time, saying one become governor. Yes. Then I asked the question, is he not qualified
to be a governor? Even if he won't be governor.
They say no, because his father is a president. Then I asked the question, he hasn't said he's running, but I'm just saying, you don't gaslight or blackmail somebody, right? I said, even if his father is a president, what stops him from running?
Being a governor.
Absolutely. He can even challenge his father in the election.
Exactly, in the next election.
Let us see how he will challenge his father.
Challenge his father
during the election.
He can even challenge. He should challenge his father.
Well, Daniel Bwala also criticized Peter Obi's charitable activities questioning the scale and quality of his interventions. Boala claimed that despite being a multi-billionaire, Peter Obi has no record of floating a foundation, alleging that Peter Obi limits his charitable givings to only 5 million naira and has never given beyond 50 million naira. Boala also accused Peter Obi of providing substandard infrastructure, specifically targeting his borehole projects in northern Nigeria. Let's take a look.
Peter Obi is a billionaire.
Yeah.
Multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
There is no record that Peter Obi has flouted a foundation. Because every man who believes he has a passion for humanity, every man that I've seen in terms of big men, they've flouted a foundation or a school.
Yeah.
Anything that has to do with public interest and fund it so they can meet the need of the masses. Not a single one.
But there are good deeds that he does. Gives 100 million to this, to this
He never give 100 million from Adam. I know he gives 5 million. He has ever given beyond 50. And even that 50 he gave, I can tell you the circumstances behind it. But let me tell you, he came to the Northwest and North Central that time after the election. And places where they didn't have water and he wanted to create borehole. Do you know the type of borehole Peter Obi gave them money to produce? Caveman days borehole, where somebody will climb and be bouncing like this, like a strip club. He'll be bouncing like that before water go come out.
Caveman borehole. Let me take this reaction from Dave, who wrote, "There is no mandatory law that donations towards charitable acts to support the cause of humanity must be rooted through foundations. I can't think of the foundation MKO Abiola floated during his lifetime, but his impact was felt across African continent." Go ahead. Yes.
Let me start with the first story around citizenship.
Yes.
Running for governorship
Yes.
in Nigeria, in Lagos State for the son of the president, saying that he could even contest against his father. And absolutely true.
Yes.
Many of us know the criteria for being president of Nigeria. Must be a Nigerian citizen by birth, must be sponsored by a party and belong to a political party, and of course must have attained at least school cert or its equivalent. And what disqualifies you are, of course, must not be a convict, must not have been indicted in embezzlement or forgery, a number of these things that Seyi Tinubu is not guilty of. So, as he said, he has a right to contest. However, we keep saying that the power lies in the hands of the people. I believe that when it comes to election time, the people should be enabled. And I use that word very, very intentionally. Should be given the enabling environment to choose who their preferred candidate will be. I say this because oftentimes I've talked about INEC being a critical stakeholder when it comes to free and fair elections and enabling the will of the people to prevail, and not just imposing perhaps a candidate on or a sham election whereby the will of the people is violated. And so if they can just give people an opportunity, if they want Seyi Tinubu to be their governor, it's up to them. It's not Daniel Boala that would advise the Lagosians how to vote or where to vote or who to vote, but the race will be tight because the number of prominent people have thrown in their hats in the ring. Let's see how that will pan out. 2027 is 2 years away. Now, going on to charity, absolutely spot on with that ex-post that there's no legislation around how people give. I think it's quite rich coming from Daniel Boala himself. Let him evaluate, have a self-evaluation and tell us himself how he has contributed to society through his own giving or through foundations that he has floated. I think that's more important. I think it's rich for you to criticize the giving of another person who is trying to do good in Nigeria, whether it be Peter Obi, whether it be Remi Tinubu, whether it be Seyi Tinubu who's given anything. When you yourself haven't self-evaluated. I praise people who, under prevailing economic circumstances, have gone out of their way to take their personal wealth to enrich the lives of others. Instead of castigating, I think it's important to praise the efforts of individuals who have chosen to do good.
I think you have empirical fact. Empirical. You found something empirically.
Donated more than 50 million. This is September 2021. Igu Online. Peter Obi donates 100 million to Specialist Hospital for Nursing School. Okay. To Shanana Specialist Hospital.
Right. But we've taken a lot of the stories.
Empirical.
We've seen the
empirical facts.
Praise just one who decides to give out of their personal wealth for the benefit of humanity.
Yes,
I think it's important to encourage that.
Boala was factually incorrect. False.
Well, all right. Daniel. Kokoro ton jefo.
Kokoro tin jefo.
You know a follower.
Well, all right. Shall we now take another story? Well, tributes have been pouring in for the victims of Tuesday's fire at Afriland Towers on Broad Street in Lagos Island. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, Peter Obi, and the Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, have all expressed their condolences to families of the victims. The president, in his tribute, extended his sympathies to the management and staff of FIRS, United Bank for Africa, and other affected organizations, while also commending the swift response of emergency workers who assisted in evacuation efforts. Sanwo-Olu described the incident as worrisome and a significant loss, with property worth millions of naira destroyed. Meanwhile, the chairman of Harris Holdings and Afriland Properties, Tony Elumelu, on Tuesday cut short his trip to New York for the United Nations General Assembly following the tragic incident at Afriland Towers. In an emotional statement to staff and stakeholders, Elumelu said he was shattered by the devastating incident and described it as a devastating loss for the Afriland family. And I'll read his statement in part. He wrote, "I am shattered by yesterday's devastating incident at Afriland Towers that took the lives of our dear colleagues. No words can capture the magnitude of this loss, not for their families who loved them, not for the friends who valued them, and not for those of us who worked beside them. Yesterday was a stark reminder of what truly matters, our irreplaceable people, those who walk through our doors each day and share our mission. As we navigate this grief, I urge you all to reach out to those who are receiving care. In the coming days, we will convene colleagues in a memorial to honor the memories of the departed as we provide support to their families. I also want to thank all those who supported in one way or the other, from emergency responders and first aid workers to members of the public who showed courage and compassion. A minute of silence will be observed today at 12 noon West African time across all our group's companies. This was so touching to read yesterday, and it was quite, important that the chairman had released that statement, because we did see a statement from, the UBA group, claiming that the Afriland Towers the headquarters was not for, it not belonged to was not the headquarters. So it's good that the chairman had clarified this and released that statement. We know that the Federal Fire Service has announced plans to roll out a nationwide task force on safety compliance to audit public and private buildings, enforce safety standards, and train facility management. The death toll from the tragic incident has now risen to 10 people, including staff members from the Federal Inland Revenue Service and United Capital PLC. Our hearts goes out to the family members. Dr. Bati, you wanted to say something,
yes,
or just a minute?
To say that, look, this is very unfortunate. Yes. I mean, we all wake up in the morning, yes, and we're going to, offices and all of that. And for a person to go to work and not return home, it's a very serious tragedy, not just for the families involved, but also, for society, that, security of lives in a real sense cannot be guaranteed. The more we get to know of the details, the more painful, this story is. We were told that the fire started in the basement and that smoke engulfed the building. Is it that there were no smoke detectors, either in the Afriland Towers or in the other incident that occurred on that day? In some other countries of the world, they have something they call fire drill. Sometimes you will be in a public building, say in the United States, you start hearing noise. Right. They will tell you, it's fire drill, just for you to know what the escape routes are. Where are the people were dropping from windows? Yes. I mean, it's so. Now you are hearing Federal Fire Service coming up, saying we will be doing. Okay, they will make this noise. People will issue condolences, and then that's the end of it. Yes. Until the fire. Next time. Yes. So it's about how we organize our society and the value that we place on, the building code and the integrity of electrical installations. There must be regular checks.
All right. Well, the condolences are well appreciated from the president, from the first lady, and even Tony Elumelu cutting short his trip to Onga. He did show empathy there. May their souls rest in peace. I hope this never happens in Lagos. Well, still in Lagos, the government has launched an investigation into a viral video showing students allegedly smoking and drinking inside their dormitory. The footage, which surfaced on social media, reportedly shows the students from Excel College in Ejigbo engaging in these activities inside what appears to be their boys' hostel. Let's take a look at this shocking footage.
How many boys don't look for the streets?
This was so shocking. The Education Minister in Lagos, Jamiu Ali, Commissioner in Lagos, what did I say?
You said minister. Maybe you are praying for him.
Okay, maybe Dr. Bati. The Education Commissioner in Lagos, Jamiu Ali Balogun, said the government is treating the incident with utmost seriousness as it goes against core values expected within Lagos education system. The commissioner announced that a monitoring and investigation team has been dispatched to verify the video's authenticity, identify the students involved, and determine the level of institutional oversight. He warned that any school found culpable will face sanctions in line with the state education regulations. I mean, this was shocking to see, guys. I don't know who wants to really chime in quickly here.
With due respect. Yes, very shocking.
Yeah.
Shows moral decadence, shows the fact that we have a society that is going under. But the question is this not a reflection of your political class? Is it not a reflection of the high up people in this country? It's not how they smoke and they drink in public. Where did the kids learn it from? They learned it from people ahead of them. They learned it from people that are influencers in society. They learned it from influencers that politicians use during time of elections, that they know that it's not in this country that they use somebody to be ambassador for NDLEA that is an open, what's it called, user of marijuana. Is it not the same country? So you see, we live in a country where we act hypocritically. The kids learn from somewhere. We can deal with the kids, but we should also look at the fabric of our society. It's not in this country that a top politician in Ogun State was seen as a drug peddler.
I'm very concerned about this video, and I think beyond punishment, we should look at rehabilitation. These are children who have a bright future ahead of them. And like Rufai said, you can investigate the causative factors, why they emerge like this. But I think beyond that is, once you find that out, then we need to fix it and ensure that these children are being able to be rehabilitated and able to make something out of their lives. I hope it will not just be punishment and damnation for them, but also recovery for them. And rehabilitation is very, and it's not just for them.
I mean, I don't know how
Yes, there are many many schools. It's only, Excel is not just the one that's outstanding. There are many boarding houses across Nigeria where we have situations like this. We should deal with it.
Once upon a time. Well, it's good that the commissioner for secondary school education in Lagos is saying they will investigate. But once upon a time in this country, when you have dormitories, this is a hostel, they usually have a house master or a house mistress who lives with the students and who monitors them, keeps an eye on them.
Yes.
In fact, when we were in secondary school, that was the time they introduced soldiers. The soldiers even used to live in the hostels. You dare not come late, you dare not misbehave. Soldiers will wire you. They called it a war against indiscipline at that time. Now, all of those standards have collapsed. Where is the Ministry of Education unit that goes to these schools, whether public or private, to ensure standards?
This is it.
And to monitor that basic protocols are enforced. The other part of it is, well, drug education, you know, there used to be no to cultism in schools, cultism and drug abuse, you know, and the children were encouraged, you know, not to take drugs. But the larger societal problem is true.
Absolutely.
But it's not every parent that is a drug addict.
All right.
There are still families that are producing good children. As you were discussing yesterday, without a strong family base, you will produce charlatans
that was one
in
of
this society.
That was one of the core, the main thing that you said during your lecture yesterday. I'm glad that the Lagos state government is going to probe this, and we will follow up on this story.
Welcome to Shamra Senior Steve.